What if I told you that the challenges that veterinarians face every day with pet owners are very similar struggles that millions of Americans face when it comes to their own healthcare? Well, a lot of people think that being a veterinarian is all about cuddling cute puppies and kittens, but let me tell you about the day that I realized that it can be one of the toughest jobs out there. If you've been following me for a while, you probably know that I'm an animal lover and that my first real career aspiration was to become a veterinarian. When I was in college, I worked at a small veterinary clinic during the summers. The clinic did a little bit of everything, like primary care for dogs and cats, and once a week we would do surgeries like neutering and spaying. I loved working in this clinic, and we even had a house cat named Mick that would often rub up against my leg and purr and would hang out with me while I worked on the computer. It was kind of like my dream summer job. But as time went on, I started to see some of the more challenging aspects of the job. So one day, a man brought his outdoor cat into the clinic because the cat kept licking the base of its tail. After we shaved the hair back, we realized that there was a dime-sized hole that was tunneling through to the other side of the tail, and it was crawling with maggots. We flushed it with hydrogen peroxide and the maggots poured out like a waterfall. We kept flushing and they just kept pouring out. Endless writhing maggots. The cat needed urgent surgery for debridement and likely an amputation of its tail, but the owner flat out refused treatment because he didn't want to pay for it. And this ultimately led to him telling us to either keep the cat or to euthanize it. That night, after we closed the clinic, one of the veterinarians broke down in tears and she told me that if she could go back in time, she wouldn't become a vet again. You know, the saddest part was that cases like this weren't rare. It was super common for pet owners to argue or refuse to pay for treatment for their dog or cat, even when they really needed it. That moment really shook me and made me rethink my entire career path. And that's why I have so much respect for veterinarians who show up day after day to care for the animals that we love. And it's also what makes me so grateful to be a doctor in Canada where we have universal healthcare. So when I treat sick people in the ER, I can order any tests and provide any treatment that I deem necessary without having to negotiate with the patient or their insurance companies. But in the USA, it seems like my colleagues face the same heartbreaking dilemmas that I first saw in veterinary medicine, where patients refuse care because they can't afford it. And that kind of moral distress is heavy. Because in that situation, whether it's a vet clinic or an ER, medicine wouldn't just be about treating illness, it'd be about confronting the harsh realities of cost, access, and suffering. And I think it should make you wonder, what would healthcare look like if no one had to choose between money and life?